What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of Mixing and Mastering in the Box with Slate Digital.
Some days there's no one there. Some days there's no one there. Some days there's no one there.
And we're going to be mixing and mastering a song by Durres. I've already mixed and mastered it with just the plugins I would normally use, and I didn't do that much in the song. But this time we're going a little bit over the top to see really, what we can do with the virtual mix rack and all this beautiful stuff. Anyway, if you want to have a copy of the project file, it is going to be available for patrons on my Patreon page. So make sure to check that out, and please make sure to check out Durres as well. It's in the link in the description below, so there's some links there you can check out. Anyway, let's get started. Right now we have this. Well, I haven't heard this in a while. That top loop has way too much reverb, but that's inside of it, so I might RX7 that, but that's not what we're doing today. We're going to be looking at the bass group. Let's just call that bass. And let's go over here, make it the right color, and yeah, we're going to have to delete everything that's over here and get started again. Let's just have a listen to what this sounds like. A little bit all over the place. I'm pretty sure Virtual Mix Rack, somebody's probably going to tell me otherwise, doesn't have many mid-side control things, so I'm just going to go to fix this before I start with it. Let's start with the Ozone 8 imager, and the reason I'm going to be using Ozone 8 is because I can then strip it into a multi-band imager. Go like this. Yeah, see, it's kind of out of phase. Sometimes it comes in phase and sometimes it goes out. Yeah, it's very strange. So let's just plop that all the way down. Yeah, we'll keep that like that. Let's look over here as well. Yeah, so sometimes we're monoing and sometimes we're not. So I'm just going to put down this thing. Yeah. So that at least it stays kind of in the middle. This is weird. You know what? I think what I'm going to do is actually split this whole bass up into two and then do some trickery. So let's group that together. And now what I'll do is in this imager, I'll have only the top end. So we only have this. Call this top bass. And then this one we're going to call the sub bass. And here, let's just turn this off and turn this on solo. And now we have either place, so we can kind of re-mess with these. So I'll just put both of them up, turn this down, and then we can mess with the volume of each individual one. So for instance, if I want less sub bass, I can do that. And let's also now, I know this sounds a little bit counterintuitive, but let's use an imager on top of this Ozone 8 imager and move this top bass in width again. But instead of having the left-right movement that we would have had from the original signal, we're now just going to spread out the top bass just a tad. So now we have the same thought process as Durres already had, but we have control over it so that the bass always remains. Anyway, we're supposed to do Slate Digital. Let's just see how this fits with the drums. A little bit more sub. Just balance it out a bit. Cool, and let's put this down. And I remember seeing an LFO tool. So Slate Digital doesn't have any side chaining, so I'll just use this for now. And let's just bounce it with the track, because it's a bit of a bouncy track. You know what we can do, because we have it split up, we can actually take one LFO tool on the sub bass, for instance, and bounce that more so that the kick drum has more space on that boom. And let's bounce this one a little bit less. Yep. And now we can go over it, because we now have full control. We can go over to the main group. I know this is a little bit counterintuitive, everything. And we're going to go use the virtual mix rack. And I kind of want to control the bounce even more, because right now there's a couple of notes bouncing out more than others. So it's a boom, boom, ba, ba, boom, boom, ba, ba, boom, boom, ba, ba. Those ones we need to control the ba, ba, so that it's kind of the same volume as the boom. All right. So normally I would say, use less LFO tool, but we kind of need that for the bounce. So we're just going to kind of squish it for control. And normally I would use a CLA 3A, plop it on and you're done. But we're going to use the FD Stress. Let's see what else we have. 1 second. VCA compressor. We don't need VCA. We need, well, fuck it. We're just going to use this. Let's see. Let's input it. And let's use, 6-to-1 sounds about right. Plop it up. And I only want that bump to bounce down. And not the first boom. So I'm just going to take this down a bit. Perfect. You saw that the second one had like minus 9 dBs of gain reduction. Let's set the attack time. Let's see. So if we do slow attack time, the first punches will come out. If we do a fast attack time, we can kind of annihilate it. And release time, if we have a slow release time, it'll be really obvious that we're compressing. And if we have a fast release time, you won't really notice it too much. But we have to kind of mess with it. So let's just see. Oopsies. Okay, that's not working. Let's go with that. So it really pops out those notes, and with it, still pops out, but not as bad as before. So let's just now also take this U73B, which is a bit of a slower compressor, and I kind of want to go opto, and let's just see if this helps out smooth out this one. A little bit less input. Cool, let's see what we have for volume for this bass. Minus 16, so you guys can barely hear it. Let's put this up. Okay, it's a very distorted bass already. So I don't think we need any harmonics per se. Let's put in an equalizer though to have a little look. Because sometimes, and I know this sounds weird, sometimes it's nice to cut the low end a bit and create a little bit of a bump as well to get more low end out of it. But let's just see if we need that. I just kind of want to have it here just for the sake of having it. I want to see if it fits in with the actual drums. It's all right. It's not perfect, but I can live with this. It depends also how the harmonics are going to come in. For now, that's all right. Let's also experiment a little bit with the top bass to see if we can use a little bit of, it sounds really weird, but a little bit of reverb to give it some space, because it just kind of dies. And maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. So let's just, let's just drop it into Ascend and Verb Classics. All right. Now, I am not a verb, I tend to just use verbs that work for me, and I kind of stick with them. So we have some plates here. Let's see how this stuff works. We have drums, keys. I think keys will be good. Wow. Okay, there's a lot of stuff. Is there an advanced tab where I can just load device? So these are devices. Oh gosh. I need to do my research on this. What are all these things for? My god. I think a tom verb would. Ooh, my, look at this. This is a lot. Let's just go with like generic lush. Okay, these is a second, so yeah, okay, 1.4 would probably work. Let's just experiment with this. It might work, it might backfire. A little bit less fast. Cool, so we got a little bit of bass. And this reverb is then gonna fit in a little bit with that way over the top reverb of this top loop, which is reverbed in here already. So we kind of have to make a verby track to begin with. I might actually fix this later on with the RX-7, but for now, that is pretty cool. Let's just check what it sounds like with the harmonic. Everything's so quiet. Okay, we're slowly getting to where we need to be. I'm not too worried about this verb suite right now on that bass. That's cool. So I'll leave this the way it is, and I'll see you guys next week where we're going to be tackling the harmonics. And yeah, again, for patrons, you will be able to download this project file very soon. Anyway, Happy New Year, and see you guys soon. Bye-bye.